This is a package we got from our Prime Minister's office.
It may just look like a stack of paperwork, but each file represents an individual or family who has been waiting to come to Canada after escaping their war-torn country.
Yeah, so this is a family that's looking to be sponsored. So this family will wait now potentially as much as 4 years, and they've already been in refugee status for almost 6 years.
But it's not Syrians we're talking about this time. It's Ethiopians who have taken refuge in Kenya and Nairobi.
We have many boys or many girls are dying the same kind of situation in Africa. Nobody really bringing that up to the decision makers.
And according to a recent UN report, the Kenyan government wants to deport 600,000 of these Ethiopians to other countries. Some of these refugees have been in these camps for decades.
Where can we take these refugees?
Paulos Gote understands exactly what these people are going through. He's an Ethiopian who once took refuge in Kenya, but was lucky enough to get government sponsorship to Canada. These days, 99% of the refugees like him have to be privately sponsored.
As soon as I get here, I try to start finding sponsorship for the refugees who left behind.
Gote is the executive director of Galata Ministries in Lethbridge. The organization privately sponsors refugees.
Galata means a kind of gratitude. As a refugee, I suffered a lot. As an Ethiopian citizen in Ethiopia, I suffered a lot in the jails. From all those situations, I escaped to Kenya, and in Kenya refugee camp again, I suffered.
The situation in Ethiopia is not a new one. It's been going on for decades. But Gote feels the trials have been swept under the rug, forgotten about by Ottawa and the media, taking a back burner to the crisis in Syria and even Bhutan.
Nobody seems to like to talk about the African refugees.
Gote hopes to garner attention from the Prime Minister and has solicited the help of Lethbridge MP Rachel Harder.
I've come on board and I've decided to support this initiative, and I certainly will continue to raise awareness with regards to those that are in Ethiopia and the atrocities that they face each and every day.
Our main goal is, once she understood our point, we want her to take the message to our Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister of Canada, we want him to do a lot of help, especially with the refugees. I know Canada is working a lot with international refugees, which is mostly in the Middle East, but we want Canada to involve with Ethiopian refugees particularly, which I am from and I know in detail the situation. But there is other refugees, like mostly from Africa. The problem is almost the same, but the international communities are not putting more pressure.
The cost to sponsor a single refugee is $16,000, and Galata Ministries has 16 of these applications sitting on their desk. And these are just 16 of the 600,000 that are being forced out of Kenya.
To be sponsored, family to be sponsored.
On Saturday, June 11th, a fundraiser will be held at the Central Church of Christ parking lot at 716 23rd Street North to raise support for families who are looking to be sponsored from the Kenyan refugee camps.
Because Central Church of Christ owns a dunk tank, we thought, what about if we had a drop-in for fun event and see if we could recruit some sort of famous people from Lethbridge to come and take a risk, sit on the seat, and be dropped by their friends who would be willing to pay a lot of money to do that.
Rachel Harder, the chief of police and deputy fire chief, along with local singers, have agreed to sit on the dunk tank to be dropped in for fun.
And so what we're asking is that people would consider how much money they would be willing to donate to be the first person in particular who takes 3 of the balls that we provide and tries to drop each of those people into the dunk tank.
Gote hopes the fundraiser will help turn a life around, much like his was.
I came to Canada, now I am peacefully with a country which has a lot of freedoms.
For Go On Shaw TV, I'm Jeanette Roche.